Today on Locked On Rockies, welcome back Senzatela, and the young Rockies bullpen is starting to raise some eyebrows.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 17th day of September in the year 2024. I'm your host, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. And if your team is the Colorado Rockies, guess what? You're in the right spot, because that's what we do around here each and every day. Free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies in the Locked On Rockies YouTube comments section. Every time you like a video, every time you check out a video or stream us, leave us a review on your favorite streaming services or subscribe to the YouTube channel. You're helping the show grow, and I really do appreciate that. I'm Paul Holden, your host and Rockies fan extraordinaire. I've been bringing you this daily Rockies podcast for over 3 seasons now and following this team my entire life. Today on the Locked On Rockies podcast, we're going to talk about the return of Senzatela and the Rockies bullpen, bringing up the not the rear, I should say, but backing him up and helping him out. And so we'll react to Senza's first start. We'll react to the Rockies bullpen, react to the Rockies getting a walk-off win against the Diamondbacks team that certainly still has a lot to. There's still a lot to go. There's still a lot of room there, but what we've seen now in the last series and in this first game, we saw some stuff that raises the eyebrows in good ways, while also being cautious about the fact that the Rockies were being dominated for most of that game against Arizona. And we didn't get to talk about this yesterday, but the news of the City Connects going away, we'll have to dive into that, because that's kind of a bummer for me. But we'll talk about all that and more. And before we get into all the fun today, now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com, because FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook and a sponsor of today's episode. Okay, so Antonio Senzatela comes back from the IL, and it's okay, because here's the deal. 4 hits, 2 walks, 2 runs, 3 innings. Not great. But let's look at it as the full sequence, right? Triple, 2-run homer. But then irons out a little bit, right? I mean, the walks are still there, but no more damage is done. The damage is done for the Diamondbacks in that entire game off of that. And the Diamondbacks had 8 hits in this game. Like I said, Senza walks a couple batters, 3 total walks for the Rockies. It definitely fits sometimes. But sure, it was far from perfect. But he had 2 strikeouts. The game didn't get out of hand. I mean, think about it. How many times have we seen, especially this season, where it's just like, oh, here we go. Corbin Carroll triple, 2-run shot. Diamondbacks are off to the races. It's going to be one of those days yet again where it's going to just be all Arizona the whole time. And it was mostly Arizona throughout most of the game there. But it's important that for his first start back after, folks, I don't think I've heard of, there are bad sports injuries, a lot of them, and a lot of setbacks and things that get in the way. But I don't know how many people, especially pitchers, come back from tearing their ACL and then making their return to the mound and then finding out in that start that you need to have Tommy John surgery. For Senza, just getting back up on that mound and pitching this season is a huge accomplishment. That means a lot. It means a lot to him. It means a lot to the Rockies. I mean, and so I'm not going to sit here and get too in the weeds of it. He had a strict pitch count yesterday. Clearly the rust is there because he hasn't pitched. I think a friend of the show, Evan Lang, said it's like 7 innings pitched in the majors in the last 2 years. But that's a good milestone. And hopefully he's still feeling all right enough that the Rockies can sneak him one more in there. Give him another 70 pitches. Just why not? Just to see. mean, there's what, 3 series left? Dodgers, Cardinals, Dodgers. Shouldn't be too out there to believe that Senza can maybe get another start or two. And if it's short, so be it. But that's going to be a huge momentum builder for him. That's going to be a huge thing to help him start strengthening himself back up. Kind of like a way to get that off-season workout program going a little bit early while continuing the rehab. So, of course, I sit there and, I of course get worried by 4 hits and 2 walks in 3 innings. Yeah. But I'm going to more focus on the fact that it was only through that damage, through the rust, only 2 runs allowed. And that set the stage for a young Rockies bullpen that has been absolutely insane in September. It's been really, really, really wild to see here. This is from Rockies MILB report here. Across 46.2 innings pitched. This was going into the game yesterday. So now you can we'll increase this stat here once we're done. Across 46.2 innings pitched, these Rockies rookie relievers, Chavihi, Criswell, Halverson, and Peralta, have allowed just 14 earned runs while accumulating 53 strikeouts. Rockies MILB report says this Rockies bullpen is shaping up to be the best in franchise history. We'll see. Rockies bullpen, best ever. I got PTSD and that type of stuff. We'll see, but it is so nice for the Rockies to be the guy that has the guy that comes out of the bullpen and throws 101 on the black. It's nice that the Rockies have guys that when the Rockies are sending people out of the bullpen, they're sending these unique pitchers. They're sending these guys with speed, with velocity. They're sending these guys out there with pitches that break and move and make pitchers uncomfortable. So adding to that list here, and I guess Molina's not on this one. So Peralta and Halverson both pitched yesterday. 3 innings pitched for them, 1 walk in that time, 3 hits. So no earned runs. So now that is 49.2 innings pitched, 14 earned runs with 55 strikeouts for that group of guys in the Rockies in the last just about 50 innings for the Rockies, 49 and 2/3. If that's the stuff to get excited about, man. If this bullpen is actually, I mean, it's crazy the turnaround when you look at some of the other numbers here and some of the other stuff that the Rockies have. The Rockies have the 13th best bullpen ERA in September at 3.49. The Diamondbacks ERA is 7.49 this year. Not in this year. I'm sorry. In September. Let me specify that. In September. Because we know the Rockies bullpen ain't that good this year as a whole. But the point is, it is really, really encouraging. Like, again, yes, in the grand scheme of things, it has been tough to watch this season. But if you're watching the games of late, if you're watching the Rockies in this last month of the season, if you are looking at this team through the lens of where they are at, you're a little more encouraged. You look at that team, and the team is gelling. The team is flashing young talent. The team has a long way to go. The team has the team is still very far off from the contention. But they're stealing these games. They're beating these good teams. Remember what we talked about with this last stretch. Remember how, as we keep bringing up the schedule, the Rockies haven't given up. And they are understanding that the players that are getting time, that these opportunities matter. This experience matters. And I think that it's good to I think for a lot of the young guys, especially to see Tovar and Doyle thrive the way they have, because they're going through it. I mean, Tovar and Doyle, since they've been pros, have just known franchise worst Rockies baseball. Historic losses, losing seasons. That's all they know. But look at the way that those guys have approached the game. Look at what it's meant to them, for them to go into last year and take the approach they did and then bring it into this year. Brenton Doyle is clearly emerging as a leader within that clubhouse. Brenton Doyle's names continue. I mean, I really do think that you can tell that the Rockies are still focused with the task at hand of finishing the season strong. Focused on the goal of getting better with these opportunities. I think Ryan McMahon's a little frustrated and some other stuff. I mean, his post All-Star break games numbers are horrendous, to be totally honest. But I think there's a lot of interesting emotions and things going on with that club. But I really like to see how that the team just seems to really enjoy their being around each other, their presence, and building around. I forgot to attribute my stat there. For the ERAs. That came from a writer for the Arizona Diamondbacks on Sports Illustrated, Jack Sommers. That's bringing up the bullpen ERAs there in September, so wanted to give credit for that. And there's more insight on the Rockies bullpen on Just Baseball from Patrick Lyons, of course. Patrick Lyons, friend of the show. So if you want to go check out more information on the young guys there, but it's really cool. It's like I said, there's still a lot to be frustrated by. There's still a lot in the air. There's still a long way to go for the Rockies. But the last couple weeks have just kind of shown me that the team is wanting to fight more. It's really been kind of the second half of the season. There's been some tough stretches and tough losses in that mix there. But since going on that 3-game losing streak to start the month of September 1st, 3rd, and 4th, the Rockies are lost. The Rockies have now won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of their last 8, 9, 10, 11 games. That's awesome. You're and in that mix, you have 1-run games, you have comeback wins, the Rockies really didn't deserve to, didn't deserve, but the Rockies stole that game from the Diamondbacks yesterday. And we can say that about a couple of these other games. And the Rockies went out there and, handled school, they not handled, but survived school ball, ended up winning that game. They beat the Cubs in comeback fashion. And in this game, they come back against Arizona, who's dominated them all season long and stole a win from them. A critical win. These are Arizona can't afford to lose right now. 83-67 Arizona is. San Diego's 86-65. This matters. These games, and that's what I'm saying. The Rockies know that the games still matter. It matters for their development, and it matters for these other teams in the playoffs. All right, went way long in this segment. Let's take a quick break. Let's break down a little bit more about the game and what we saw. Of course, Ezequiel Tovar hitting home runs. What more can you say about the guy? Let's dive into all that and more coming up on today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Base hits, stolen bases, walks, all that stuff. Did I say base hits twice? Strikeouts. You throw strikeouts in there too. Why not? See all for yourself and be able to build that roster that you want. Like I said, it's just you against the numbers. You're not going to miss out on that waiver wire pickup that you wanted to go after and believe in and back the stats. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast and safe and secure. When your picks hit, you can get your money back in as quick as 15 minutes. PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out of your lineup. Isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. This is the Locked On Rockies podcast for free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. And folks, for your second listen of the day, make sure you go check out Sully and Locked On MLB. He's got you covered for all things baseball, keeping you up to date on the state of the playoff races here as we are in the home sprint for the playoffs. It's going to be really interesting for a lot of teams down the stretch. And Sully's got you covered with all things Major League Baseball. And Locked On, the Locked On Rockies postcast comes your way on the Locked On Denver Sports YouTube channel and in your Locked On Rockies feeds. Anilo Piro doing all sorts of postcasts for us. He is a multi-sport expert there. And he's not forgetting about his Rockies here in the thick of football season as well. So check that out. And SiriusXM and SiriusXM app have got you covered for all your Rockies play-by-play all season long. All right. Rockies take down the D-backs 3-2, a walk-off win. Exactly what you're hoping for. And when you're looking at the standings here now for the wild card in the National League, 83-67 Arizona Diamondbacks. They are a game. That can't be right. This is a game back. They're only one game back. Oh no, +1. Okay, they're a game ahead by that. I was like, San Diego has 3 more wins than them. How does that math work? But Mets currently holding on to that last playoff spot. Braves wanting that last playoff spot. And the Cubbies, fortunately, sitting there in 5 games back, man. They'd be in a different situation if it just didn't, if something didn't just happen. And I can't quite figure out what that was. But anyway, if the Rockies win this series, Arizona is being put on the put on the bubble, because there's the bottom of the order, or the bottom, the cutoff is coming here. I think Chicago, it's still technically possible. There is let's see, 5 games back, still multiple series. St. Louis has got 7 games, so the door remains somewhat open. But if you're Arizona, you can't afford to lose games like you did last night, especially not in the fashion that you lost. I mean, that's an errant throw after in a big situation in the 9th. I mean, baseball happens, but that's bad, man. That was bad, because the Rockies were sitting there prime. Like, hey, bases, here we go, getting something going in the 9th here. Up, double play, momentum killer. 10th inning, here we come, ghost runner. But what I love to see in that 9th inning too, the Rockies gave Arizona a bit of their own medicine. Brenton Doyle gave him a boom, got on base, single, take a base from you, boom, immediately putting the threat on there, putting the score, the scoring threat right there. We've seen Arizona do that so much, especially the Rockies, and for them to be able to do that and set up the situation that they did is incredible. And like we've said it in times before, put the ball in play and good things happen. And the Rockies put the ball in play just enough. Only 4 hits in that game. The 2 solo shots were crucial. The Hunter Goodman blast, which, hello, Hunter Goodman. We're talking about players making auditions right now. We're talking about players not giving up. That guy is saying, hey, do not forget about me. Do not forget about me and let me catch. It is quite impressive to see the differences there in Hunter Goodman when he's behind the dish versus elsewhere. But still, I mean, and then again, Tovar back tied for the team lead with Tolia. A little friendly competition. They're not saying that there was another stuff from Patrick Lyons there from the clubhouse. And then, all right, it's all right if I don't finish, but you can tell a little competition between those 2 guys. I mean, it just seems like the vibes are building up and mixed up to the fact that the Rockies come in, tie game, put themselves in the position to win, and then boom. Yeah, you know, Brendan Rodgers, of course, not nearly the type of swing you want, but you hustle it out and you see what happens, and you win. In that instance, it's the Rockies stealing a crucial win there. I've used the term stealing wins before, but it's the right way to describe it. The Rockies were out hit 8-4. The Rockies were down in that game early 2-0. But it all came together. Another instance in which the Rockies, you know, it's a big difference from what we saw in the beginning of the season, right? Followed behind early, Not a lot of fight. Little pulse. And then it falls apart again. No, this team has been able to get the job done in ugly ways. That's an ugly win last night. But it's a win. And now the Rockies are in a situation in which they can improve on last year. They can finish, and I know that's not crazy. I know that's not playoffs. I know that's not the big picture stuff. Well, it is big picture. If you hit rock bottom and you bounce back, that's a sign. And it might not be by much. Again, I understand who the Rockies play in their 2 of their final 3 series of the season. But there's still a chance the Rockies avoid 100 losses here. If you're the Rockies and you win this series, you get yourself at 59 wins here and put yourself in a situation in which you can beat Arizona, you can beat St. Louis. St. Louis isn't a team that does anything crazy. LA is a problem, certainly. But LA's got to come. We got to give at least the Rockies get to finish the season against LA at home. Make LA come to Coors Field and have it be some fireworks to end the season. But winning, you win. I know it's a cliche, but the win is a win. And when you really look at these things, and when with the way the Rockies have won, and the games the Rockies have won, and the series they've won at late, you feel a little bit better. You feel a little bit more encouraged, and you feel a little bit more positive about the Rockies playing playoff caliber teams, and it's in a part of the season in which those teams can't take time off, and the Rockies doing well. And it might be, a win off of an error. That's fine. But you won off of an error in a game in which you stifled the Arizona defense when they had opportunities throughout that game after they got ahead early. And you had home runs to get you. Did you have a lot of offense? No, but you had enough offense to win the game. And that stuff matters. That's a division win right there. That's a good win for the Rockies. It's a bounce back win for the Rockies after getting blanked. But the Rockies are in a situation in which they could be facing, if they win this series, they could be winning 3 out of the last 4 series, something I don't think they've done all season long. They have a chance if they can keep playing this well and keep making it, keep taking advantage of their home field advantage and the fact that they are more comfortable and confident at home. They can finish September above 500. Small milestones, but meaningful milestones, especially when you could, it matters. It's small. It is a building block type of moment thing. Still plenty of things to be worked up about. Still plenty of things to be upset about. Still plenty of things to be confused about with the Rockies. But this is a good stretch of baseball that they're playing right now. And if they can continue this good stretch of baseball to the end of the season, you're going to feel better. The Rockies need to win 5 more ball games to avoid 100 losses this year. And at a certain point, and maybe not that long ago, you were telling yourself, 100 losses seems like a guarantee for the Rockies. And it still can happen. It still can happen. But I just don't know. I don't sit here and I don't see it as a guarantee anymore. The Rockies have, what is that? 3, 6, 9. The Rockies have 11 games left to play. You go 500, you avoid 100 losses, or literally even below 500, you avoid 100 losses. And if you go around or at 500 against these teams, that's a good way to end the season. Rockies taking on Arizona again today. Ryan Feltner taking on David Montgomery here. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Montgomery's 2-0 against the Rockies here this season, but we'll see how it handles. We'll see if Montgomery's been in a weird spot for the Diamondbacks all season long. So a prime situation to stoke some more flames there in Arizona. All right, let's hit a quick break, and then let's talk about the end of the City Connect jerseys to wind down the show today. That's coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, and they got you covered for all your props, your futures, your in-game stuff, whatever you're interested in when it comes to the world of sportsbooks. Why not go check out FanDuel? Because it is indeed America's #1 sportsbook. They got something a little different for you right now through September 22nd. So remember, you're running out of time here. You got to make sure you're taking advantage of this. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com and download America's #1 sportsbook. Again, FanDuel.com to get America's #1 sportsbook. This is the Locked On Rockies podcast for free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel. Be part of the show. Fire off your Rockies hot takes. Let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. You can also reach out to me on Twitter at LO Rockies. Bummer news, because I'm not going to lie. I can officially say I have grown and liked the City Connects. I've always initially liked them, but it took me a while to actually grow into enjoying them. But to hear that the news that they are being retired at the end of the season and new jerseys are coming, always exciting when new jerseys are offered. Let me make that clear. Love me a new jersey announcement. But man, I think the Rockies City Connect ended up being, a lot of people have echoed this too. This is not an original concept by me by any means. The Rockies ended up having some of the best City Connects out of anybody. And, some people people like them better with the white pants. I personally thought the green pants were cool. I thought it was a cool, very unique thing. I thought it could maybe use a little more purple, but it had that classic Rockies look of the purple with that 90s green a little bit type of stuff. I really like that. The logo on the hat still never fully grew on me. I still don't love it. I loved how it looked on the hats, and I liked the panels of the hat and the white behind it and the helmets and everything. I just didn't love the logo itself. But man, I think this is going to be a little bit of a bummer. Now, the City Connects, I think, are pretty cursed in terms of record-wise. I don't necessarily think the Rockies have a ton of winning. I've done a ton of winning in those jerseys. But it was cool to see that the Rockies had a unique jersey that ended up sticking out really well amongst the rest of the league, and especially when you look at some of those other City Connects that are kind of like, meh, or a little lackluster. But also some people were like, are those the it's kind of funny that a lot of people are just like, are those the license plates? It's just a license plate. That's it. And I was like, yeah, it is just a license plate. I guess like if you're a native, I can see why you're like that. But Colorado's got a cool license plate, especially cooler than some of these other ones that I've seen. But I don't know. It's a weird one. I really do wonder what they're going to do now. I wonder what it'll look like. Are they going to go back to the purple? Is it going to be is it going to be something vest related? Are they going to dip into the history of the black vests? Are they going to bring the black vests back? It's an interesting little uniform watch type of thing. But I didn't expect to see so many of these City Connects already being retired throughout baseball. I think the Marlins are getting rid of some. I think there's a couple of other teams that might be retiring their City Connects as well, which is interesting. But money machine's got to keep turning. Got to make those new jerseys for people to forget about the jersey fiasco at the beginning of the season. See, that's the thing. I just don't. I think I got to buy a retro jerseys. I still am not confident. Like if I'm going to go out and buy a new jersey, I just am like, I don't know if I'm buying Fanatics. I don't know if I'm buying Fanatics until like a few years into it. I still don't think the jerseys look like they got that same quality as they used to. But anyway, what do you want to see in the jerseys? What are your hopes for the jerseys? Are you hoping for a black vest return? Let me know in the comments here, but we'll see what's going to happen when it comes to the Rockies in new jerseys. But bummer, but I can't sit there and say that that a new jersey reveal doesn't get me excited. Who as a sports fan, who doesn't love a new jersey reveal, right? But it'll be interesting. I mean, I think those green ones should remain as alternates or something like that. They're a cool, unique jersey, but I'm sure it doesn't fit whatever branding agreements or whatever. Anyway, folks, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Rockies taking on Arizona 6:40 tonight, looking to get win 59 on the season here, 58-93 Rockies right now. And we'll see if Feltner can get an elusive home win for him. And folks, thank you again so much for making us your first listen of the day. For your second listen of the day, go check out Locked On MLB. Our pal Sully's got you covered there in the world of baseball. And if you need more Colorado sports coverage, Locked On Broncos, Locked On Avalanche, Locked On Nuggets, and Locked On Buffs, all free and streaming and available to you on your favorite streaming services. Folks, until next time, this is Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.